decided to run this ultra marathon. Now, before we go any further, I just want to let everybody know an ultra marathon. What is it? Okay, this is running 100 miles in 30 hours, and it's not on flat ground. It's on trails. It's trail running, but you're running for 100 miles, and you have to do it within 30 hours. Okay, so for those of you who are thinking, okay, well, they took up running. No, no, this is much bigger than that. This is like he didn't jump into the deep end of the pool. Jeffrey decided to find the deepest part of the ocean and jump in. So you're sitting there while your mother's in ICU and you pick up Trail Runner magazine and you start reading about ultra marathon. And what happened? The light bulb went off. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I was already kind of going through this weird little realization living in New York City where I was realizing that although I had grown up desperate to leave the pig farm and move to New York City, I slowly realized that I was missing nature, and I started to get into hiking. I bought a bicycle, and then my mom got very ill, and I came back to Missouri, and yeah, she was in the ICU for the last 3 months of her life, and there was no question why she was there. She had been struggling with heart disease since I was 11. She was overweight and had always struggled with that. Heart disease to a certain extent is preventable, and there were lifestyle choices that had led her to that moment. And so while I was in the waiting room one day, the hospital had subscriptions to some rather obscure magazines, and one of them was a Trail Runner magazine, which now I'm consumed by, so it doesn't feel obscure to me anymore. But at the time I picked it up because I thought it was silly. I was like, what an odd little specific magazine this is. And I opened it and started reading it and was immediately enamored. Just these stories of people running through the middle of nowhere, the most beautiful places. And a couple of days later, we happened to have, unfortunately, one of the not as awesome days in the ICU and got some pretty rough news. And on a whim, I went out and bought some trail shoes, found a state park, and went for a run, and was almost instantly hooked. I immediately felt like a little kid running through the forest, jumping over logs. And it was so different than anything else that I knew to be sports. There was nobody timing me. There was nobody watching my fat jiggle. It was just me. It didn't really matter what I did. I was just out in the woods playing, quite literally. And I was just instantly hooked. And then, not to mention, I temporarily forgot about the day. So I think that was the catalyst for a newfound obsession, was that I didn't think about other things if I was working hard enough or in enough pain or uncomfortable enough on a trail run. So it became a really addictive mental respite.
I've heard that often from people, right? That sometimes those activities that some people might look at as, wow, you're really punishing your body, or why would you do something like that? Well, sometimes we need that. We need that distraction in our life. And